What's good, my man in society? It is your host with the most, Shadow Low, back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. That is how you help my channel get into the algorithm. Highly appreciate if you go ahead and do that. Now, what I wanted to talk about was about gangster rap. Gangster rap made me do it, right? The blame that gangster rap gets put on it, right, by individuals who say that the reason for all the chaos and drama in the streets and all this and that is because of gangster rap. It's gangster rap's fault. Gangster rap made me do it. Which is actually not true, right? But now, gangster rap, or let's say violence in general, right? When it comes to video games, movies, TV shows, music, etc., does not, it does not make people do things, right? But it does plant the ideas in the individual's heads, right? So music does influence, but that doesn't mean that music makes individuals do the things that they do, right? It's one of the, common things that happens with society, right? When anything good happens, people want to take credit for it, right? If your kid is doing good in school, or maybe he's an athlete, right? And he's successful, people be like, oh, the nice, I was right there, helping him out, or helping him grind and motivating him. So people like to take credit for all the positive things in life, right? Even at work, when something good happens, people want to be like, yeah, it was my idea. People are so quick to be like, yeah, I did that. That was me, all me, Now, when something bad happens, though, all of a sudden, it's the neighbor's fault, it's their friend's fault, it's their fault, it's this and that. Now, people don't want to take responsibility, when it's something bad, right? So when it's something positive, they're willing to, be like, yeah, front and center. When it's something negative, of course, they're going to want to blame their friends, their music, the games, the movies, etc., right? Now, it is harmful for a child, right, especially growing up, to experience a lot of violence, whether it's movie, cartoons, video games, and all that, when there's no parent there to, pretty much break down these things to the child, right? To tell them, what's, right from wrong, what's, fictional, why, these people are bad people or misunderstood or whatever, right? But when a parent is being a parent, right? When a parent is, actually there and providing the knowledge to the child, right? The child doesn't know no better. He's just a kid, right? You leave a kid to himself and he's going to try to, figure out stuff on his own. It's probably the worst things you can possibly do, right? The child's, mindset or thought of ration is not, is not to the level of an adult, right? So they're obviously not going to make the best choices, right? They're going to make choices off of their emotions, right? And at a time of puberty, right, when they're getting a whole bunch of new emotions that they're not used to, you can see why stuff tends to go sideways when you leave a child to pretty much raise themselves, right? That's why a lot of individuals make bad choices and become troubled individuals because of the lack of parenting. You know what I mean? So, of course, the music, the video games, the TV shows, the cartoons, all of that is what's raising the child. The child is getting all his idea of life from these things, right? If the parent is not there to, properly guide or, tell him, right from wrong and actually parent, then the child is going to seek this as the parenting method and, go on what these individuals are saying. Because it seems that this is the only type of communication that he's experiencing when he's a child, like I said. Right? So he's being raised by the music, the games, and all that. And you can see why bad behaviors, violence, and all that, it becomes a pattern of his, adolescence growing up. If the parent is absent from there, to break it all down. You know what I'm saying? So that's why there's some people that say that, gangster rap makes people do stuff that they're to blame. Now, where's my evidence to show that gangster rap is not actually at fault for the gangbanging and the chaos of the world, right? Okay. Gangs and gang banging is not something that's new. You know what I mean? Maybe to those who, don't live in an area or, out of touch with reality, gangs have been around since forever. especially here in California, the home of the birth of gangster rap, right? Gangs have been around since the 1800s here. So all these Cribs, Bloods, essays, Northerners, Asians, whites, Italians, whatever, they were all gangbanging way before rap was even a thing. Way before, any of that music shit was a thing. They were already out there causing crime, havoc, chaos, death. All of that was occurring way before the gangster rap was ever a thing, and the murder rate was high. Right? So where is the blame on gangster rap there? Right? What was the blame for that? Right? Why, these individuals' actions? Can't blame gangster rap there. You can't blame video games or any of that, because none of that shit was around. They hadn't existed yet. So therefore, how are you going to blame all of this and that when this shit was occurring way before any of this? People were gangbanging way before they. As a matter of fact, gangster rappers, when they first came out, they're talking about shit that they did. So they're rapping about shit that they have already done way before they even started rapping. That's how they were able to gather the material for the raps. They were doing it way before the gangster rap, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, and they were recruiting, new youngsters were getting into the gangs, and all this gang cycle was occurring and all that way before gangster rap was ever in the picture. People were doing drugs, drinking, and all these bad behaviors way before gangster rap or video games and all that. People were killing each other, like I said. You had serial killers before any of these video games and all this and that ever was around. So you can't blame society's violence and all that on this, bro. You know why individuals turn out to be troubled individuals? Because they weren't properly parented. That's why. Because they were neglected or put through some trauma, isolated, tortured, abused, sexually, mentally, physically. There's so many different reasons of why individuals become troubled. But it all leads back to the parenting, though. I mean, there is rare cases where people are born, you know what I mean, like psychopaths and stuff like that, right? But it's rare. It's rare, though. It does occur, but it's rare, right? And we're talking about the overall masses, the group of individuals that display these bad behaviors. There's very few that are actually born with these kind of mental, disorders, to try to say that they all have them, right? You know what I mean? Because people blame the music, people blame the gangs, you know what I mean? But no gang goes into people's houses and takes the kids by force. They come willingly and they're seeking, exception. They're seeking another family. They want to be accepted. They want to be understood. They want to feel like they belong. The reason they want to feel like that is because they feel like they don't belong. They feel isolated. Maybe their parents are always at work and nobody's paying attention to the kid. Who knows, bro? But I can tell you this, though. The kid feels like he doesn't belong. So therefore, now he's seeking, to belong. And it's so easy for them to, adjust and to, clamp onto something when they feel like these people understand them because they're going through everything he's going through. So they understand what, he's going through. They can relate. And, the fact that they can relate creates a bond. You know what I mean? And that's why these individuals are so hard to let go of that bond, because it's like, you guys are saying this and that, but these are the only individuals that have ever, actually, paid attention and actually understand, how I feel, And then they see these other people as the villains, like trying to hold them back because, like I said, they're just misunderstood individuals, right? Because they're just childs, So they don't understand the parents got to work to pay the bills. And if it's not properly explained to them, if they don't take the time to actually communicate, conversate, and actually create a bond and an understanding with their own child, then the child, you're leaving the child to only think, whatever he could cook up in his head, right? Like maybe they don't like it, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, right? But leaving the kid to his own thoughts, bro, is the worst thing you can do. Of course, they're gonna think the negative. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they're being called names or being yelled at or being hit. It's only gonna fuel now their thoughts on maybe maybe they just fuck ups or whatever, right? So you can't blame that on the music and stuff like that, right? And that's why they could relate more to the music now, right? Of this and that, right? Because it relates to, how they grew up, right? It's an understanding of the pain, the chaos, the drama, the real life of what real individuals go through, right? But society always wants to, like I said, brush everything under the rug or throw blames in other places instead of looking in the mirror. That's why, of course, it has to be the video games. Of course, it has to be the rap. Of course, it has to be these individuals outside. Because they'll be damned if you tell them to look in that mirror. So, gangster rap doesn't make individuals do things, right? Like I said, but people just want to throw the blame wherever they want. But that's just my ideas, my thoughts, right? My opinions. What do you guys think? Leave it in the comments. I'm Shadowy out.